The Breastfeeding Awareness Week, it's an opportunity to promote the breast is best message adopted by the World Health Organization, of course our own government and pretty much every health professional you'd care to ask. The fact we have an awareness week for a process that's been part of human existence since forever shows us just how political the issue's become, really. The Ministry of Health says it's crucial for the nation's well-being that more women breastfeed and for longer. But we've also been contacted by a group of mums who say sometimes breastfeeding isn't worth it and the pressure put on new mums is too great. So what's that all about? Who are they? Ingrid Hipkiss went to meet them.
This isn't a typical mums coffee group. They've never all met in person before. Instead, they connected online through a Facebook page called Breastmates, set up by Frances McInnes.
I run topics on there about breastfeeding, about bottle feeding, just getting discussions with mums so that they know they're not the only one going through something. Yeah, they can log on in the middle of the night when they're up with their baby and they can see there's hundreds of other mums going through the same thing as them.
Any new parent faces a steep learning curve, but Frances says there was a recurring theme from bottle feeding mums. They felt demonised and that they had no support.
Mums go through hell to try and breastfeed. You know, some mums will be trying for weeks and weeks, going through a hell time with a lot of pain just because they want to breastfeed. They believe it's the best thing they do, so it's absolutely not a reason that they can't be bothered.
The overwhelming medical advice is that breastfeeding is best. The Ministry of Health makes no apology for pushing that message from the moment a baby is born.
It is critically important for the health of this nation that, you know, as many babies as we can get to that 6-month milestone and are still breastfed for all the benefits that it brings.
New Zealand maternity hospitals work towards a baby-friendly status. It means they must promote breastfeeding, and new mothers aren't given easy access to formula, as Anika Brown found out. She says chemotherapy left her unable to breastfeed.
One of the nurses just refused to give me a bottle, so my mother actually brought one up to the hospital for me, and she turned around and told me that I was putting his life at risk and that I was, in any childhood diseases he got would basically be my fault, and I was putting him at a risk of cancer and diabetes and a lot of other things.
The criticism continued after she'd left hospital.
I was abused in a mother and child room actually, and was told that it was child abuse bottle feeding and that the rooms were actually only for breastfeeding mothers and should just leave.
Good girl. Crystal Whitaker persevered with breastfeeding for months, even though she believed her daughter wasn't getting the nourishment she needed.
She was off the Plunkett graph in her weight. You couldn't put her on the lines at all.
She was below it.
She was way below weight.
But every medical professional she approached for help to get her daughter onto a bottle refused. Breast is best, they said. Finally, her GP prescribed a high-calorie formula. Now Chelsea is thriving. For Frances, it was postnatal depression that drove her to give up breastfeeding.
And for me at that time was just a lot of work and it was quite a burden. It was combining with the postnatal depression, so one way I could control that was by starting with the bottle feeding.
Bev Ashburn is the odd one out in the group. She breastfeeds but supports those who try but can't.
For me it's perfect. Breastfeeding is perfect, but I'm not other women. You know, I can't judge what other women do, and I think at the end of the day a happy baby is loved and well fed, and you know, if that feeding comes directly from mum or from a bottle, it doesn't matter.
In spite of the pressure these women feel, statistics show plenty of mums aren't breastfeeding. At 6 weeks of age, 2/3 of babies are exclusively breastfed. That drops to 55% at 3 months, and only a quarter of mums breastfeed to the recommended 6-month milestone. Those statistics also show that Pākehā mothers breastfeed more than Māori, Pacific and Asian mums.
There's been a huge move in the 20th century away from breastfeeding, and there's lots and lots of reasons for that, and so the the usual thing now is that babies are bottle fed, and so there's been a consistent effort from the ministry and from other interested groups of practitioners, midwives, nurses, other community groups to support a return to breastfeeding, because what we know is that it's much better for babies in the long term.
These mums accept that message but still say they've been treated unfairly.
It's all in the love, isn't it? So, love doesn't come out your boob, it comes out of everywhere.
Ingrid Hipkiss was the reporter. Up next, with the cost of